Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Reasonably Perfective podcast brought to you by myself, Uncommon Fossil, and joined, as always, with 10 types.
Yep. Hello, everyone. And today we're really excited to be talking about rotation again. Last week we talked about rotation specifically with the trainers, which are, to be honest, the more, I mean, probably the better cards, but there's some really good Pokemon rotating as well. I feel like this is a pretty big rotation, right? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is, out of the top decks, three of the four top decks are rotating, right? So that's it. There's not as many support Pokemon that we're losing this time. So we are losing some important ones, but a lot of it's these main Pokemon. It has the biggest impact.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to get into this. We're going to talk about obviously the cards that are rotating and also probably the impact of some. I've taken a look a little bit myself at like kind of what the meta will look like, my predictions post rotation, but I'm not really sure. I mean, it's definitely going to be interesting. As you said, three of the top four decks are rotating, like completely rotating. Which kind of leaves that one deck, which spoilers it, it's Dragapult, which is surviving, is like kind of the deck that, it's easy to look at and be like, oh, that's going to be really good, but I'd be shocked if that's the only deck. I mean, that's also a deck with a bunch of counters, so we'll kind of take a look into that some. But if you're not familiar with what rotation is, the standard format is the most recent cards in the Pokemon TCG that I think 2 to 3 years, and
Yep.
so obviously at some point it needs to change because it's not every set it changes. Well, every set it gets bigger, but then once a year at the beginning of the year, this will be in a couple of months, the standard format will lose the essentially oldest year of cards, which is what rotation is and a pretty big thing within the game, and that's what we're talking about today.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we have, even though it's not such a big thing now, like expanded format, which keeps a much bigger card pool that doesn't rotate, but it's nice have but standard with its rotation, which is most collectible card games have that. It just works well, keeps things fresh, so it is a good thing, all in all.
Yeah, and I guess we'll just start taking a look at the top decks in the game. I feel like that's a good place to start with. I guess we'll start with I combine the decks here in Limitless again. So we'll talk about Goldengo, or should we go? Should we start with Dragapult, or where do you want to start?
With top decks, yeah, let's talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't we talk Dragapult because that's the one that is not rotating, right? So,
Yeah.
I just
So I combined it. I have Dragapult Charizard here, so I'll start with that. Charizard DX we'll talk about a bit more in a little
okay.
bit, but Charizard DX is sometimes paired with Dragapult EX, and so that is potentially a loss for Dragapult EX. Dragapult EX is pretty versatile. We're not really going to talk too much about Dragapult itself today because again, it's not rotating.
Right.
It is losing one somewhat meaningful, I was going to say card, specifically Pokemon. It is a losing Hawlucha, which places one damage counter on 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Of course, Dragapult EX puts 6 damage counters on one of your opponent's bench, or on your opponent's bench Pokemon, potentially just one there. And then a lot of Pokemon in the format have 70, like Hawlucha itself, in Dreepy, and like so many of them because of Buddy Buddy Poffin, which is not rotating. So you'll be losing a Hawlucha. I don't think it's a huge loss by any means, but it is a meaningful one that is worth mentioning, and really the only Pokemon loss for Dragapult, right?
Right. I mean, look at this other list, which is the non-Charizard one. You get your Dragapult. You keep the engine with Drakeloak. You have the Dusknoir line, Bidoof, Monkey Dory, Blood Moon Luna, Latias, Pheasantipity. So just the Hawlucha, which the deck certainly will functions without it. You have to just manage things a little differently, but deck does very well post rotation.
Yeah, and one other thing I have to mention is we got losing Luminous Energy. We did talk about Luminous Energy in last week's episode, which check that out if you haven't. But we didn't really talk too much about the actual impact, and I think it is it's a meaningful impact, and
Yeah.
it's mostly used. I mean, it's like pretty good with the deck, allowing you to smooth out your energy a little bit, but it's a really big deal for. I mean, it allows you to use the Monkey Door, and this is true for some other decks as well. Without Monkey Door or without Luminous Energy in the deck, you honestly like can't really use Monkey Dory. Um, in the deck at all. Like you're
Right.
not gonna be able to tech it in without really hurting your energy situation. And the energy situation in the deck is just like mediocre anyways. It's not like horrendous, but it's two energies mainly attached onto a stage two, which is a little clunky. But overall, the deck's not losing too much.
Right. Yeah, yeah. The loss of luminous energy, you probably with this list, you're probably going to cut the Monkey Dory. I would imagine. You're going to have some more basic energies, and you may then slot in Crispin too for some energy acceleration. I would think the list that I'm looking at plays Neo Upper Energy, not a lot of basic energy, some more basics, and Crispin. I would think kind of makes the adjustment.
Yeah. But then moving on to the next deck, let's actually talk Charizard because we talked a little bit about Charizard with
Yep.
Dragapult. When I say a little, I do mean just a little bit here. There's really two ways to play Charizard. There is the build focused around specifically Pidgeot EX is the only draw engine, and then there's the build where you can also be running Noctowl. We're mostly going to talk about the one with Pidgeot, I guess, because I mean they're like kind of similar, right? But
Yeah.
also you're losing Pidgeot EX, right? Pidgeot EX and Charizard EX both rotating, both good cards. And let me find a list that's just a
Yeah.
Charizard Pidgeot list here.
Yeah, but the
Um,
list I'm seeing are playing both Pidgeot and Noctowl. But like the third list and the combined one is one that is just Pidgeot without Noctowl.
Yeah. And Charizard EX of course itself is rotating, which is it's a very good Pokemon. In my opinion, one of the best Pokemon in the game right now. We ranked all the Pokemon in the game, or like the top Pokemon in the game, a little while ago, and this must have been pretty high. Of course, it's a Terra. That's some synergy there with the Terra stuff, but then
Yeah.
also you accelerate up to 3 energies from your deck to your Pokemon in any way you like, which will pay for its attack and more, which is 2 fire, 180, 30 more for each prize your opponent's taken. This could be doing a lot of damage, or it's doing just a decent amount of damage, but it pays for itself. So it's like a really simple to power up Pokemon. It's low maintenance, pretty like decent upside, just a good card that does what it needs to do very consistently, and it's been very good since it's come out. And I definitely think it's going to be pretty interesting to see this outside the metagame. That being said, I do think Brightest Shell EX will kind of replace it in terms of doing a similar idea there. Right now in standard they're both played, but they're played pretty differently. But I do think in terms of how they actually are like designed, I think they're pretty similar cards.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, look, Charizard's been really good. Just a tremendous card. It was from day one. The design of it with its HP, the way the attack ramps up, the energy acceleration makes it a super powerful card. So obviously, it's been good the whole time, and yeah, it leaves a void there. Most Charizard decks don't pair with other fire attackers just because Charizard's so good, but it did open up those options as well. So yeah, I mean, I enjoyed Charizard, so kind of glad. And in one sense, it's nice. I guess it's going away, but it's been a good Pokemon too. And the Pidgeot EX, like you said, rotating with its ability, just tremendously powerful. Quick search for any one card each turn. So you can't ask for much more than that.
Yeah, it is a stage two, so it mostly goes within. I was gonna say it mostly goes with stage two decks, which is like kind of true. I mean, it goes mostly with
Yeah,
Charizard, but it also is like the face of control. It's not a control card really, right? But it's a card that allows you to search out what you want every turn, control you're taking longer games, you're getting more value out of this, and getting more precise pieces that are somewhat difficult to search at times. So Pidgeot EX is very good there. Not that control is like dying with rotation. I will say post rotation, when the metagame gets narrower, then you might see a situation where control is actually going to be better, but people probably won't be playing it that much. But we'll see. Stall decks also could be better. Stall stuff isn't really rotating as far as I'm aware. Like the top walls in the game, like Crustle. We'll talk about one that's rotating, but for the most part, they're staying. But Pidgeot EX is like, as you were saying, like a very powerful ability. One of the good engines in the game. I'd say right now the engines are kind of mediocre. We are seeing Meowth EX. Definitely excited to see that card coming in the next main set, Perfect Order.
yep.
But yeah, Pidgeot EX definitely gonna be a pretty substantial loss. I guess, but again, it also is mainly seeing play in a deck that is rotating.
Yeah, I mean, Project EX, its ability is insanely great, but it hasn't seen a ton of play in a lot of decks just because it's a stage two deck. So you need to have a stage two deck that's already playing rare candies, and then you still have to think about doing it just because it is a stage two. And that since we're losing Pidgeot EX, it doesn't matter so much. But they're like the Pidgey, the one Pidgey like the Call for Family for two is always Call for Family a two attack with for two is always an attack I like a lot. So cards like that rotating are also meaningful to some extent.
Yeah, I don't think we're talking about previous evolution. Well, actually, I don't know if there's any particularly good previous evolutions rotating. I think there's like a Dunsparce that matters a little, but it's not like a huge deal.
Right.
And outside of that, I mean, there are previous evolutions to cards that are rotating. I guess there are previous evolutions to cards that are rotating that are staying in the game, which aren't rotating, but like they're obviously bad because, like there's a Charmander that's staying. I guess there could be Mega Charizard stuff. I'm definitely not a believer in Mega Charizard, but anyways, Pidgeot is it's a good card. I'm gonna miss it. I enjoyed playing Control. I'm looking forward to playing Control post rotation as well. And diving back into that, I haven't played it that much recently, but you definitely have some cool things you can do there. Still keeping cards like Elgium and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. There's a Dunsparce. I like the Dunsparce engine, which is sticking around. So the Dunsparce, which has 70 HP and has what Find a Friend, we're losing that. So if it's a little, it'll impact some things a little bit, but not all that much. Um,
Yeah.
so anything else you want to say about Charizard, or move on to the next of the big decks?
I don't think there's really anything to say about it. We'll talk about fire a little bit more later. I mean, Charizard is like accelerates fire energy, but it's not a fire deck. It doesn't really have that much fire stuff as you were saying. So yeah, I don't think that there's too much to say about it here. I guess like Moltres is. I don't know. I mean, I don't really see Moltres that much to be honest, anyway. But like, if you were playing that in Charizard now, we are not obviously. But
Right.
yeah, as I said, I do think Barnes will take its place to an extent. I think people will like. I think when I saw I saw Mars Grimmsnell EX, I was like, this is a worse Charizard, which I still stand by. But Charizard DX is so good, and when Charizard DX is out of the game, I think we'll see that even more clearly.
Okay, yeah, it'd be interesting to see how good and how big Marnie's is. When things happen. I like Marnie's Grimsnarl, but I also kind of, it's kind of a like, and I doubt it at the same time. So should we go on to Goldango next?
Yeah, let's go there. So I'll talk Goldango here, I guess. I think I played it a little more than you, though. I haven't. Well, have you played it much in the current format with Lunto and Solvak?
No, I played it early. I played it more early on. You've played it more recently. So why don't you go ahead and talk about it?
Yeah, I haven't played it super recently though. You were really into it early, like even earlier on
Yeah.
than I was. But anyways, so you got Goldango EX, of course, a very good card in the game, allowing you to draw one or two if it's in the active, and then you can discard any amount of basics from your hand, basic energies. For one metal here, you do 50 for each card you discard in this way, and that can obviously do a lot of damage there, which is good. On top of that, you're also able to you can like use this ability as a draw engine. You can pair it with like Air Balloon to do some cool stuff. Also Genesect DX. Genesect DX is not rotating, but I don't think it'll be very good post rotate. I mean, it searches for metal evolutions. If there's a good metal evolution deck, it'll probably be good. But
Yeah.
ultimately, it's going to be interesting to see how the cards paired with it see play. Oh, we are losing Spirit Energy Retrieval as well. I don't think we're really going to. I mean, we talked about some in the trainers rotating video. It's
Right.
not a huge deal because we are also losing Goldango EX, but it is meaningful to take note of there. And then it'll just be interesting to see like if there's a deck that takes the place because it is the big one-shotting deck, right?
It is. It's the big deck that has really good scalability. I mean, the deck we have, which does play a bit of the Superior Energy Retrieval, is Raging Bolt, Ogerpon. So that sticks around. It's a different deck.
Kind.
It's well,
It's
yeah,
losing Sod.
it loses Sada. So maybe that just isn't viable anymore. You might not get enough energies in play. But something, but it's had the scalability. Goldango, I think, functions a little bit better than it. So I'm not sure what the will have the scalability of Goldango. That's a question that we'll have to see what the answer is.
Yeah, there's also Sacrilege. I think Sacrilege. I've always compared Sacrilege and Goldango to each other. I think they're like kind of similar, but they're obviously not exactly the same either. So it'll be interesting to, as you said, see what'll take its place, especially when we see probably a metagame leaning more into megas. So having higher HP, you need to scale like a lot. Like Goldango can, sometimes struggle to knockout megas. I mean, if you need to take 8 prizes, that's going to be probably a little difficult there. But yeah, just interesting to see what's going to happen with the metagame. I'm trying to think if there's anything else meaningful that we need to talk about from this list. I mean, there's like some of the transfer rotating like Arven and stuff, but we've talked about that, and that's not like a
Right.
Goldango specific thing or anything like that.
Yeah, just with the loss of Goldango in particular, with its scalability, maybe this does make the mega decks a little more viable, right? Because right now, if you try to play a mega, And if there's decks out there that are one-shotting you, you really can't get away with it. So if you can't one-shot megas, then megas become more viable. So that'll be interesting. That's some of the change with these rotations of what happens.
Yeah. But then we have the last of the top decks. You want to talk about Gardevoir here?
Yeah. So Gardevoir, which could have been deck of the year, arguably. I think Dragapult won our 2025 awards, but tremendous card with his ability, just insane, accelerates as much energy as you want for the discard pile, puts damage counters on, which sometimes it's been bad to put damage counters, sometimes it's been good to put damage counters. So, right, Gardevoir is not the main attacker. I still, you can attack with it if there's situations for it, but mostly you're attacking with other things, such as Scream Tail, which is rotating, which would be a big deal if Gardevoir stuck around, but we're losing Gardevoir, so Scream Tail wouldn't, it's not very meaningful there. In Gardevoir, the fact that it used to have the Kirlia with I forget what the ability was called, but discard one
Yeah,
drops.
refinement.
Refinement, which obviously just a good engine piece, and not only that, you're getting your energy in the discard pile was insanely great. But even lost the refinement Kirlia, and it still was a top deck. Just shows just how insanely great it was. And this is a deck that can play Monkey Dory and utilize Monkey Dory. You could attack with potentially it, but you can also just move damage counters. You're putting damage counters on yourself. All really good stuff, but we are losing Gardevoir, so a huge loss for those that are Gardevoir fans. I was never a hugest Gardevoir fan, so I'll probably be kind of glad that I don't have to worry about it anymore myself.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is the oldest deck that's like very good in standard, coming out in Scarlet and Violet base set. The first of the sets rotating,
Yeah.
and it's been good since it's come out. It's been very very good. Potentially the best deck of the Scarlet and Violet era. We'll see. But then also. Monkey Dory is not rotating, obviously, but it is a card that I'm wondering how it's going to see play post rotation. Not played presumably in Dragapult post rotation. It doesn't really fit there. Obviously not played here because this deck's rotating. A deck
Right.
like Charizard can play it. It's not like super good in Charizard. But then Marnies can play it, and then there's also like Ends which like can play. I mean, it's like pretty. It's good in Marnies. With Frostlass, obviously Monkey Dory Frostlass has been a
Yeah.
thing since they came out, and then also a deck like Ends or like Mega Absol. It's like good, but it's not like absurd because you have like energy issues in those decks. You're not getting like damage counters on your own board. It's okay, but it's not like amazing. So I'm wondering if there will be a true top deck that's utilizing Monkey Dory particularly well. Right now it's a good card, but like it's a very good card. But I'm wondering how it'll look post rotation, because it is a support piece. It's like a meaningful support piece, but it's not like a universal support piece like Fezandipty EX. Speaking of universal support pieces, though, I did want to talk about UBX here, I guess. UBX is also one of the biggest rotation, the cards lost to rotation.
Yep.
It's you were saying there aren't that many support Pokemon rotating, and there aren't. There's more main attackers rotating, but UBX is a versatile support piece, allowing you to either once per turn draw till 3, which is useful. You can also use it for its free retreat. You can also use it for its attack, which for 3 colors copies one of your opponent's active Pokemon's attacks. I think the drawing is the biggest loss here, but the attack and the free retreat, those are also both nice. There are different things that can fill that role, but I think it's going to be interesting to see what ends up doing that. There's something like Mega Kangaskhan EX, but that's different. It has some similarities, and I made a video talking about their similarities, but ultimately this card, I don't know. I'm wondering how. What are your thoughts on its rotation?
I mean, Mew. I played it a lot early on, I think, in decks, and I haven't been playing it much in a while. So, the tricky part is obviously free retreat is good. It's very good. It's 180 HP is very squishy for 2 prizes, so that became a negative. And being able, it was at this point you can basically every deck can one shot it, so that's not great there. And then to use the ability to draw 3, that's what I think where it's very good, but you have to get down to like ideally like say a 1 card hand, right? Because if you get down to a 2 card hand, you're drawing 1 card. To me it's not enough value out of it most of the time to want to have that true prize 2 prize liability. So I just kind of I liked it, and I kind of fallen. I've just liked it less as time has gone on, I gotta say.
Yeah, it's like it's a little weird. I mean, there was a point because Squilvet is also rotating with the barrel. Squilvet was
Right.
good, and then if you were doing that, UEX could also be cool there. Um, it's not a thing anymore. I can't think of the last time we really saw seen Squilvet. UEX is its attack is like decent. It's like payable. I mean, in Gardevoir, it's pretty nice there. It's definitely as a draw Pokemon, as you're saying, you need to get down to a really low hand size, and then that's like bad to not have a lot of cards in your hand.
Right.
It's not the end of the world, but if you like, you can't really rely on it because you're only drawing a few cards. You can use it to like help you bail you out, kind of like Pheasantipede EX, but Pheasantipede EX is going to be drawing you card. It's always going to be drawing you three. If you can use it, it's also going to be letting you keep your hand as well. So BBX is like it's a cool card. It's not the most powerful card in the game. It's a good card, but it is versatile. It's a card I'm going to miss some. I think it's a cool card, and it's a decently powerful card as well.
Yeah, no, I think it's a well-designed card. It's good at in things, but it's not great, which I think is good. And it's got an interesting attack too for those decks that can power it up. Which obviously Gardevoir can. Lugia, used to play it, so back when that was around, and obviously you could attack with it in that too. So it has an interesting attack too. So a fun card. Yeah, cards like this are, we'll see what the next kind of card like this. It's not the best card, but it's a good card, and as like I said, good design to me.
hmm There's because now we talked about the true top decks rotating. I figured we could
Yeah,
talk about another good support piece, kind of like Mew EX, which is Squawkabilly EX. Which I think I mean, I like it as well, but I want to hear your thoughts on it. And its rotation.
yeah. So this is I've said it before, maybe the last time saying it. It's the nerf Dedenne GX, right? Because it discards, you draw six, but this only does it your first turn because Dedenne was just too good. So I think it's a good balanced design there. Again, even squishier than Mew EX at 160 HP, but such a powerful ability. I think it makes sense. I think it's well designed, being only your first turn of the game, and discard draw six for decks that want to get stuff in the discard pile, and even decks that don't. It can be good for that too. So it's been, I see it played a bunch of Raging Bolt and some other things. So I like the card a lot. I probably didn't play it as much as I should, would say, because there's partly discarding a lot of cards. It can be feel bad at times. It's certainly like any rare candy style type deck to me. I very rarely want to play a card like this because losing those rare candies or some card that are so critical to a deck like that, it feels really bad. So it's limited to what it works with, but it's very good at what it does.
Yeah, and it's like it's a bailout Pokemon. Like, if
Yeah.
you have a bad turn one, you can just go ahead and Nest Ball for this or Ultra Ball for it. And I do think I mentioned Meowth EX earlier. I do think Meowth EX is gonna kind of replace this card. I really like Meowth EX. It searches for a supporter on play from hand. We're losing Nest Ball as well, so the on
Yeah.
hand thing doesn't matter too much, I don't think. But it's a little hard to find, but or
Right. I mean,
presumably we will kind of see.
yeah, I mean, when Squawkabilly came out, also that's when we had Nest Ball, which replaced Quick Ball as the base as for basic Pokemon search. Quick Ball, you discard, the Pokemon goes to hand, which gives you a little more versatility. Which a card like Dedenne GX wasn't on playability, so you needed that. But then they went to Nest Balls as the main search card for it. It obviously pairs with Squawkabilly because it's not an on playability. But of course, you can only do it your first turn. So, but you could like get your Squawkabilly in play, and then say play a Professor's Research if you had, like a really discard heavy deck. So it gave you some flexibility, but you couldn't play it down and wait for your neck for a later turn, which is even more flexibility there. But Squawkabilly designed to go with Nest Ball, they're rotating together. It all kind of makes sense.
Yeah, but then we're getting back to the on play abilities with the Meowth EX, which is for supporter,
Yep.
which turn one going first could search for a Carmen, which you can play or any turn, but you can do that turn one going first, um, which is very similar to Squawkabilly EX, right? Discard your hand, draw five. It's not six, but also it can do a lot more different things in the late game as well. Um, do you think this is like a fair comparison, or like how good? What are your thoughts on Meowth EX, honestly?
Maybe. I mean, because one of the cards that Squawkabilly's played with is Ceruledge, and so Meowth getting the the supporter, which I just forgot the name. You said it.
Harmon, right?
Yeah, Carmen on your first turn can be very good. How good is it gonna be? Obviously, time will tell. It's a very meaningful card though. So, um, is that do you prefer that over Squawkabilly? It's doing something different. So, but I think the Meowth is a big will be a big addition to the game.
Yeah, I guess you can also stack. I mean, you were talking about with research, you could stack Carmen with Squawkabilly or research with Squawkabilly or whatever. So, um, you can't do that with Meowth EX, right? Because it gets you your support, which you then play. So,
Right.
um, it'll be interesting to see that. But I do think it's like I kind of think it's a replacement, but I don't know if that's why it was printed or if it's just like another good card to help decks when rotation happens. But Squawkabilly definitely a big loss for Sarilege specifically. I feel like that's a deck that really wants the discard. Um, on top of
Yeah.
that, also as you're saying, Raging Bull, and Raging Bull's also like just in a weird spot in general. We'll see what that looks like post rotation if it looks like much of anything. But
Yeah.
this is a card I'm going to miss a little, but it's also being usable turn one.
Yeah, look, I think like that in Squawkabilly EX, Mew EX, two well designed support Pokemon. These are probably the two biggest support Pokemon we're losing, at least amongst the EXs. Both work
Yeah,
in
and Gardevoir. That's like kind of a
and
support
Gardevoir
card.
too. Yeah, it's hard for me to think of a call it a support Pokemon. Well, that's what the deck's named after, which is just the attacker, right? So,
Mhm.
and Gardevoir is more niche, but the Mew and the Squawkabilly are more universal, although they work for different styles of decks. So I think it's been nice having both of them in the format. So good, it's been a good job by Pokemon. Doing that, obviously we'll see. We rotate, we lose stuff, but then we get to find out what the new stuff is over the course of the year. So it's an interesting flow and ebb and flow of card pool and design over the season.
Yeah, the new set does the first new set of the first main new set of the year does
Yeah.
drop with rotation. There's a mini set coming before, um, which we might talk about. We've talked about it a couple of times already, Ascended Heroes, but then there's also Perfect Order releasing with rotation there, or
Right.
essentially with rotation. It gets a little weird. Yeah, what card do you want to go to next? Do you have a certain one you want to talk about or not?
No, we have the list of all the cards. So should we just kind of hit the big ones from that? You ready to do that or no?
Um, yeah, sure. You wanna introduce it?
Which
I
hits
don't
us
have the list, but
Iron Hands. Then this is I'm kind of scrolling through the limitless page here. Is what I'm
okay.
doing. If that works. So Iron Hands EX, love it or hate it. I've probably hated it more than loved it. Um, we'll see what You can let us know your thoughts in the comments. But Amp You Very Much just does 120 and takes a knockout. You get an extra prize. A tremendously powerful card. Obviously limited to what types of decks it can go in. You got to power it up and stuff. But it has been a meaningful full card. I probably throughout this whole time, it's probably ebbed and flowed some, right? With ways to power it up. Like early on, there was Lost Zone, now Joltik, and some different things. So, but a powerful card, a bit oppressive to the low HP single prize Pokemon when Iron Hands was common. It hasn't been played a ton lately, but it has been it's been a meaningful card probably for pretty much throughout its whole time. I would say.
Yeah, definitely. As you're saying, seeing playing different things. Right now in Joltik Box, speaking
Yeah,
of Joltik Box, I'll also mention Miraidon EX here. Miraidon EX is also rotating. 220 for 3 is like okay. But on top of that, you can also, we have your Wilderness Ability Tandem unit letting you search for once every turn of the game for 2 basic lightning Pokemon, put them onto your bench, which is a really nice setup card. Um, Definitely a pretty meaningful loss for lightning type decks. Definitely,
yeah.
just a good card there, right?
Oh no, yeah, Mirana EX has been a very good card. One I've enjoyed a lot. It hasn't, Miraidon EX was kind of the even using an attacker early on, paired with some other things too. But it's fallen off. I would say it's like in Joltik box, so it kind of helps the Joltik box work. It very much was its own deck for a long time, and obviously we're losing Generator, which went with it, and we had we have Flaffy right in format that's sticking around right.
Electric, yeah,
Electric, yeah.
which is like the same.
Oh yeah, but Flaffy was around early on, right, with it.
Yeah, that was playable with Miraidon. It's kind of weird, because there's a big gap between the two of those, but Miraidon like bridged that gap, I guess. They're the same card, by the way, if you didn't know. And Electric, it's a big thing, but it doesn't really matter right now. But anyways, yeah, Miraidon definitely a very good card. I mean, a very good card. It was like one of the top 2 EXs when it came out behind Gardevoir. It's
Yeah.
not Gardevoir, but it's a good card.
No, and it's been an important card throughout its whole time. So, and if it was were sticking around, it lets you set up lightning decks. So it always has hope of becoming something new again, like it's become with Joltik Box. So, yeah, an important card. We're losing not the most important card now, but has been a very important card throughout pretty much its whole life, I would say.
Yeah. What do you want to talk about next here? I think I know what you want to talk about next, but
Where do you want to go? Oh, scrolling through. So
yeah.
we are losing my friend Fortress EX. I guess I heard some resignation in your voice, so I assume you're thinking Fortress EX, which I know it's not that good a card. I get it, but it's very fun. It knocks itself out, accelerates 5 energies. You give up 2 prizes. It's an EX, so pretty horrible card to play, but it's a fun card is what I'll say. So and it's going away. No one's really going to miss it because it wasn't really very good.
Yeah, actually, I'll talk a little bit more about this card and as to how bad it is. This card's so bad.
Okay.
So one, this card has a direct counter in standard that sees play with
Yes.
Psyduck. Psyduck's a good card, and like this can't do anything if Psyduck's in play, so that's bad.
Yes.
Also, you knock yourself. Giving up 2 prizes is bad. Giving up prizes in general is like bad. I mean, Dusknoir is like super good. There was Electro GX, which is Electro GX in expanded, which is a pretty good card. I think it's good in full expanded. It's certainly good in live expanded, but essentially you use it and then you like win the game. With Fortress EX, the payoff is like, um, I don't know. There's not very much payoff. Like getting 5 Grass Engines on your board theoretically sounds crazy, but it's like I don't know. I guess you could use it with Mega Kangaskhan, which is like okay. But
Yeah.
I
Look,
mean the deck is okay. But
yeah, it was Vegas Kangaskhan Fortress was played by one person in one IRL tournament. That
yeah,
in Limitless. So Fortress EX has showed up in one list. So that's pretty amusing there. So it's not
yeah.
very good, obviously. A lot of fun, and having a fun card like that, I'll miss it, but it's not a loss, obviously. Um,
Yeah. Oh, apparently, so you play with Crustle. You like Crustle. That doesn't seem
yes.
super good, but seems kind of funny there.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Well, yeah, because Crustal's 3 energy, so it's a way to get going quickly. And as long as Crustal, which is a wall, as long as your wall ultimately works, then you can give up some prizes, or it doesn't matter. But and I played a fair amount of Crustal, probably more than you have. But it's what I would describe as a leaky wall a little bit. It's a bit Civ-like, so you will give up some prizes anyway. So pairing with Fortress, it does seem pretty sketchy, I'll say.
Yeah, and also if the wall's working, then you also don't need the energy acceleration,
Yes.
um, really. But anyways, so that's kind of a fun card there. I guess we're going through. I'll mention Toadschool EX, and I'll also mention the single prize Toadschool. Toadschool EX protects your Pokemon with the energy attached from effects their opponent's attacks. It's useful in some situations, though it's relatively niche. It also has an attack for 2 grass, does 80 for the more feature bench Pokemon with any grass energy attached. Grass is like okay right now, I guess, with like some of the Mega Venusaur stuff. So Toadschool EX is fine there. The single prize Toadschool, a pretty good card to be honest. I'm working on a video. I'm not sure if I'm going to make this, but like the top 10 cards in standard right now, and I think Night Stretcher is like really good. Like top, I'm gonna put it third or fourth. I'm not sure. It's like so good. This says cards. The Toadschool here says cards in your opponent's discard pile can't be put into their hand by the effect of abilities or trainer cards. This also stops superior energy retrieval.
Yeah.
Toadschool's definitely been and still is a pretty good tech option. Played in some different decks in the metagame. It's not like amazing, but it's a pretty good counter card there. Definitely a meaningful loss. Not like a huge loss there, but it is worth mentioning.
Yeah, the hard thing with Toad School, because I played it some, is it's a stage one, so you have to so you have to get the basic down. So you're announcing to your opponent what you're going to do, so they know to kind of make adjustments for it. That's a big downside to a counter being a stage one. But yeah, yeah, it was an important little counter card that saw some play there. Going to make mention of this other, probably the last grass Pokemon here is Spathra EX, which I've enjoyed playing. It uses Psychic Energy, increases attack cost of your opponent's Pokemon, so it's a nice little counter deck, and it can be effective because it gives your opponent some headaches. So I've enjoyed playing it. Again, it's not the greatest card, but as I was talking when we were prepping, it is a whole lot better than Fortress EX.
Yeah, and I also like it a lot more. It's like a It's a card I used to really love playing. I've kind of stopped. I mean, like it can kind of get obliterated by Dragon Ball. Your opponent attacks, they get rid of like three Flittles or something. But
Yeah.
anyways, that's path. They're not great, but it's okay. Then moving on to a better card here, which is Arm Rouge. Arm Rouge also isn't that good, but it lets you as often as you like during a turn move a basic or and not a basic any fire energy from discard. What am I saying? You move a fire energy from one of your bench Pokemon to your active, and it is stage one here. It's a pretty cool ability, letting you move energies around your board. It's primarily, or it is played in standard right now, really with Ethan's Ho EX to get fire energy on your board. Then you also pair it with Prism energy, or energies of any type to then power up an attacking Pokemon of, a wide variety of different attacking Pokemon. It's a pretty cool deck. It's one. Honestly, I haven't really played very much. I mean, it's not like particularly good. It's kind of like Terravox or like Joltik Box, but it's like worse. Because it's clunky, but it's a cool card. It's seen play in other things as well. I mean, it's seen play as like a toolbox deck and in different forms here. Oh yeah, so I'll play with the Arceus. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So it's a cool card, one I'm gonna miss, but I'm sure we'll get cards like it again as well. I mean, we have Mega Venusaur, but that's not the same.
Right. It's just right. A single prize Pokemon that gives you some flexibility to try out some fun stuff is what it is. It's not the doesn't make for great decks typically, but it makes for fun things. And you could use Luminous move and Luminous Energy as well because it's a fire on the bench. As long as the only special energy, you move it to the active, and it becomes whatever type you need there. So a little bit of flexibility there too, because it's not just a basic energy, it's just any
Yeah,
fire energy. And I
yeah,
think,
and yeah, Luminous and Prism there.
yeah,
Like, you could do both as well. Luminous is funny because if you get two on the same Pokemon, they get like stuck there, which is kind of funny. But yeah.
right. If all you need is colorless energy, you could slide all four Luminous to the active and then come colorless. And I think, sadly, I think Armorers might be the only fire Pokemon we're going to talk about today, which is kind of sad that fire Pokemon have just not gotten the love that I would like to see recently.
Yeah, I mean we got the yeah, Charizard. That's not fire type,
Yeah.
but it uses fire energy, and there's some cards to pair with it as well,
Yes.
like Chi-Yu or something. And but we still got Mega Camerupt, and Mega Camerupt's getting better with the next set. And Mega Camerupt's awesome. No, Mega Camerup's okay. I think I stand by the fact that it's underrated. It's like really boring. I'm not gonna lie, but it's okay.
Okay. I just
Oh,
it
I
feels
got a
bad.
computer
Feels
sound.
bad. What's that?
I got an error. Well, it's fine. Hopefully my. Oh, okay. Give me 1 second here.
Okay, so one thing I'll just say, I always felt sad that because, like I said, I do like fire Pokemon, and the best fire Pokemon in the game in the poster one is Charizard, and one of the best Pokemon in the game is Charizard right now. But they make it a Dragon type Pokemon. I mean, a Darkness type Pokemon. It's like, oh, come on, can't it just be a fire Pokemon? I would just feel so much better if it was the case. So, 10 types, are you back, or should I just keep moving
Yeah,
on?
yeah, I'm all good. Actually, I don't know if I'm all good, but we'll figure it out later.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had some weird issue, but I think it's fine. So, yeah, well, we'll see what happens with Fire in the future. It's honestly been like pretty bad for quite a while as well. So we'll see if it
Yeah.
becomes better. Yeah,
Right,
big
because
believer in
right, because we had that insane stadium, magma basin that accelerated energies to the from the discard pile to the bench and such, and it still wasn't all that great. So just because the fire Pokemon weren't good, but talking about Pokemon that aren't all that good, just quickly mention Zatu, one that I've enjoyed a lot, and I think you might have enjoyed it too. You attach a basic psychic energy to one of your bench Pokemon and draw two cards. But theoretically, super awesome. Accelerating energy, drawing cards, just making it happen. Zatu being a stage one, you need the energies at hand already. It just never really worked great. Plus, it accelerates to the bench, not to the active, so you still have to do switching, and it just took too many pieces to make it effective most of the time.
yeah. So it was cool with some different things. It's played in Alexam. It is played in Alexam right
Yes.
now. Or I will say my file did crash. So yeah, could I get the one from you after? Because
Okay.
something. I'm not sure. But yeah, anyways. So yeah, Zadu. It's played in Alexam. I don't think Alexam's. I mean, I think it's okay. I mean, I get like comments sometimes. It's like, wow, Alexam's like broken, or like like I don't know. I mean, people play like Zero Six and they're like, yeah, I'm playing this to like crush Alexander. Like, surely it's like not that hard to beat Alexander. It's like not that good. I mean, it's okay. And
Alakazam's
it can be
good.
strong.
Well,
Yeah.
and you've said it right. It's probably the best single prize deck in the game right now. right?
Yeah, but all the other like, there's not another one that's even, like, top 20 probably.
No, there's not much competition. So, right, single prize decks. Oh, single prize decks that we're losing that aren't that good. We are losing United Wings. So, actually, not we're not we're losing what 3/4 United Wings. One of the United Wings cards is sticking around, so you can still play United Wings with which Pokemon's staying.
The Dartrix is staying around. It's staying around because it came out in Shroud Fable. So yeah, I don't know why. Like they do this from time to time. It's like super bizarre. But yeah, you can play a really bad United Wings if you want to.
Yes, the stage one with only four United Wings. So, and yeah, really awful. But anyway, we are losing that of which was that was a single prize deck that had some promise. It was had some, because it had a good mix of types, so it had at least some potential, but certainly underwhelmed there. All right, so
Yeah.
scrolling through things, we get to the one wall Pokemon we're losing, which is a good Pokemon. That's Mimikyu with the safeguard
Oh,
ability. Right. What are we out of sync
not
now?
Dash Fun. No, no, no. Dash Fun. Dash Fun's also a wall. It's a wall.
I skipped over. That's true. You can talk about Doxfin all you want after Mimikyu. Then
Yeah, no, I won't. It's bad. It's funny. It's right next to it.
it is.
Yeah,
You're right. I was next to it. and I still forgot about it. So my
yeah,
apologies, Doxfin. So, but it's a basic Pokemon 70 HP. So you get it. So easy to get in play. Super, immune to attack to damage from attacks from V's and EXs. Of course, not immune to like Dragapult placing damage counters. So not so great there. And then it puts 7 damage counters on. So and an okay attack, but also a bad attack for it because Mew EX, which is rotating. Back when Mimikyu was around and very troublesome, it's still around, but it was more troublesome, I think, in the past. Mew then was the counter for it because Mew copies the attack and it places damage counter, so Mimikyu's not immune to it. So you'd rather have not a damage placing counter attack. But I think this is a common design feature, so it's been a good card. It's a wall that just it's a basic, so you can just slap it in any deck. So if you want to, I like cards like that that just give a little bit alternate win condition that are versatile.
yeah. I will say, oh, I said Dash Fun. Mimikyu is like it's just kind of overshadowed by Crustle. I mean, it doesn't do that
Yeah,
much damage. I do think it's okay. It's more so like a tech Pokemon. Crustal's more so a build around.
right.
One grass type is a little less teched into like I don't know. You don't see it in top decks as much, especially the decks it's teched into. Usually, I mean, what like you played it with ends, right?
Yeah, Crustle. Yeah, Crustle's its own deck, and Crustle. The difference between doing 120 damage versus 70 is huge because Crustle, when you're walling off the rule box Pokemon, it's those single prize Pokemon that aren't one shot because they're usually not single prize stage twos. That's very very uncommon. So Crustle one shots all the things that can threaten it, whereas Mimikyu doesn't. So that's a big liability to Mimikyu, right? It gets one shot but it doesn't one shot the threats to it. So that reduces the effectiveness.
Yeah. So I will say, like, maybe use a card. As I said, I like control. There's some really cool things you can do with it. In some just like really interesting situations. Well, in my opinion, interesting where because it is kind of weak, there are like Pokemon that can get through it. Like Dracolo can get through it, so you need to like
Right.
plan that out and things like that. But anyway, so you do have that rotating, which I am sad about, but it might be good. I mean, it's not a huge loss there. Moving on to the next card, I guess. What's the next card? I guess I'll mention Reverie. I don't know
Yeah.
why I mentioned this one. Actually, but yeah, you get to discard a basic from your hand, draw till you have 6. Do you like this card?
I mean, I played it some, but with the V Star. Um,
Arceus.
no, the Oh no, I didn't play with that. I forget. I don't really love it. I loved it when I heard it announced. I thought this is great drawing 6 cards because the barrel at 5 is great. So imagine 6, but just getting it to work didn't really work for me. So that was my experience. I
Yeah.
tried it some and then quickly gave up on it.
Yeah, discarding energy is a pretty. I mean, it's not expensive. It's like something you kind of want to do.
Yeah.
But the issue is the fact that yeah, you like need energy to do it. This is a way to kind of draw until you have something attached to generally here to bail you out of sketchy situations. But Yeah, make the difference between this and Lunatone. Lunatone is very good. They're both just carrying energy. Lunatone's on a basic, and it's the energy is a little easier to search. It's like Lunatone's just like better. It's potentially drawing you more cards, but it's just like if you can use it turn one to get you off the ground. And Lunatone does like have some flaws with you requiring energy, but it's not bad. Unlike Red Room, where it's team play because some of the other engines are weaker, but it's a stage one. It can
Right.
get stuck. It has like a really bad attack, um, and uh, s- and Lunatone slash Silvark kind of solve all those problems there for the most part.
Right, the reshoot cost is 2. It's 4 energies to attack, so not good. But yeah, getting the energy into hand isn't make it the card bad because like Radiant Greninja, you need an energy to discard, but was a tremendous engine piece, very versatile. I think the biggest thing is Reverie being a stage one, whereas Lunatone, Radiant Greninja are basics, and an engine on a basic versus a stage one is a huge difference.
Yeah, the next card I want to mention here is Northern EX. Northern EX, is a card, I play League Control, as I've said. I haven't played it that much. So this is why we're talking about these old control cards here. But I mean, this is like a stall slash wall card. I think you play this one too some, allowing you to wall
Yeah.
basics or also stop special entries being played. It can be really good. It can like auto win certain matchups or pretty much auto win. Outside of that, it's not particularly good. Okay, it's seen playing Reggie Draco in
Yeah.
expanded and standard. But that's not what we're talking about today, obviously. But a card I'm going to miss a little. It's not super good, but it's okay.
No, right. Played Arceus early. It was more early on Arceus when like Reggie, when the Reggie's deck was around, and also Mew back at the one point when it relied on special energies. Right, you with the second attack, then they can't play special energies, and
Mhm.
that could be a win condition for certain things at certain times, but hasn't been relevant for a long time. I would say, Noivern.
Yeah, right now we see like Luminous and like Neo Upper and Dragapult and yeah, we might see some other special energies teched in. I suppose this against the Mega Lopunny Dusknoir deck would be really good. That deck's like not that common. It's fine, but yeah, pretty situational there. You want to talk Wug Trio though? Everyone's favorite card.
Everybody loves a mill deck, right? I still like mill. It's fun. It's usually not very good, which is a good thing, I would say. Wug Trio stage one, you got your special energies to set it up, and you flip 3 coins. Every head you discard 3, so you're on average what 4.5 cards discard, and that's a good amount, right? Because typically 4 is what the number is has been for some of these decks. So 4.5, and you'll get a couple, get lucky a few times, and you can win games with it. But it's kind of mill coin flip, just some stupid fun is what Wug Trio is. It's never been a great deck, but that's like I said, it is for the best. But it is a fun card. So sad to see it go.
Yeah, and with Ignition Reversal, it's cool. I wonder if Ignition Reversal is also rotating. I wonder if they're going to see
Yeah.
or if Ignition's going to see play. I think Reversal to me was a pretty disappointing card. I thought it was going to be good, but I thought we were talking about today here.
No.
But then we do have Halfin. That one's rotating. Fun little card. Played it some. Oh, it's not loading for me, but yeah, it's a cool little card. It's not the EX, but the single price are kind of fun there. Then we
Yeah.
mentioned Toad School. I guess I'll mention Armrouge EX, which is like seen some play within the Armrouge deck. It's fine. There's Chiyu, which sees play in Charizard
Right.
some. It's kind of been played less recently, I guess, but it's still played some. But Charizard's rotating. There's Garchomp EX, which is rotating, but whatever. But then there's Iron Bundle. Iron Bundle's like a relatively meaningful loss, I think.
Yeah.
Being played in a handful of different decks, being a pretty versatile Pokemon with the ability Hyper Blower. By the way, not all the future and ancient Pokemon are rotating. About like half, a little under half of them are. So if you're wondering about that, but Iron Bundle here is rotating, letting you discard it from your bench, and then you are able to go ahead and send your points active to the bench. It can be really useful. Most of the time, it's kind of meh. It does like a mediocre attack, I guess, but definitely a situationally pretty nice tech Pokemon that I think is like, a very solidly designed tech Pokemon in the game.
Yeah, no, it's a good card. For something like a Gardevoir deck or a Goldengo deck that wants to be just taking these big one shots. If your opponent's hiding behind something, it's a way to chase up something that you want to knock out. So, yeah, a useful card. been played a lot, although I think it was played much more early on than it is now. But a good card, cards like this, I like having in the game. So hopefully we get something that does this to some extent. They've changed up how it is. This one, right? Hyperbolic it goes in the discard pile, correct? When you
Yeah.
activate it, which I think
Yeah.
is
Wait, so this kind of effect, you mean by something that sends your opponents active to the bench?
yeah.
There is Repel, which
Oh,
is like an item that does that.
that's
It's like
true.
kind of bad. No one's played it really, but it does
Yeah,
exist.
that's true. Good point. So, I mean, obviously, being a basic Pokemon, you can search it out. You could nest ball it. Obviously, we're losing nest ball, so that would have made it problematic too. But it's been a good card, so we'll miss Iron Bundle with it going away.
Yeah. Then I'll also miss Elekid. I'll say that Elekid is 30 snipe for free as a baby. The next one I guess we'll talk about is Iron Valiant EX. Iron Valiant EX is like kind of cool here. It's a card that allows you to put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon when you move it from the bench to the active. It's used in some like Donk decks. It's a bit of a weird card. Doesn't see that much play, but it's a card that I think is fun. I guess Donk's not so fun. And then I'll also mention, I guess, Garganackle here, allowing you to accelerate a basic fighting from your discard to one of your Pokemon in play, then you heal 30 from it. It's a fun little card. I'm actually playing it a little bit right now, and it's cool. It's not super good. You can play it with Amazon. You can play it with some like Glutone stuff. It's a fun little card there.
Yeah, look, I liked Iron Valiant back with playing like Future Box with it. So obviously, Future Box is still around now, but it hasn't been good for a while. So we lose that. We're losing Cloth, but that hasn't been good for a while either. So not really much of a big deal there. I guess what the next one to mention would be what Brute Bonnet.
Yeah, I think Brute Bonnet, this is one that I wanted to include. You didn't really want to include it that
No,
much because when we talked about this beforehand, Brute Bonnet is a card with. We are also losing, I believe, the Booster Energy Capsules. So Ancient Booster Energy Capsule is rotating. You need it here to attach to Brute Bonnet, which then lets you poison each active. This isn't amazing in standard right now. It is important for Conkeldurr. Conkeldurr can't really do anything without it. But to be honest, like it's just extra damage. It also enables Binding Mochi.
right?
It's a card that I've enjoyed playing with. I really enjoyed it with Cloth. Cloth Trapdos was so much fun. But outside of that, it's been a pretty decent card with some different decks. Definitely going to be, in my opinion, pretty meaningful loss. I mean, so I'll play with Roaring Moon, which I think you'll talk about in just a second. I don't really
Yeah.
care that much about Roaring Moon EX, but yeah, Rubana has been a pretty cool and pretty decent card in my opinion.
Yeah, no, it's been a good card. And like you said, we're losing the tool, so the card, even if we had it, would have no value there. So, and then then Other Darkness, which is right next in our list here, is Roaring Moon EX, which hasn't been that good lately. I don't think. I don't think I'm wrong about that. But it was good early on. It just lost the pieces it needed. So I just wanted to make mention of it because it is a very, it has been at times a very meaningful card. I liked playing it back when it was good. I don't think you did so much, but having that threat to knock out any Pokemon calamities, I'm sorry, no, Frenzy Gouging, just knock out your opponent's active Pokemon and do 200 damage yourself, just a really nice option within a game.
Yeah, and you were mentioning like being able to one shot megas. It'll be interesting if we see a way that just like instantly knocks out your opponent's active. I'm trying to think if there's anything like that in standard. Oh no, what am I saying? There is Mega Absol EX.
Yes.
Mega Absol EX isn't like specifically with that attack not particularly good. It's like, I mean, it's like good if you pull it off, but it's hard to pull off. It can be like a way to, it's like more of like a win more attack. But anyways, I would be interesting if we see something like more Roaring Moon EX. I think it's definitely a really interesting card with 2 good attacks as well. Iron Hands EX also
Yes.
kind of has that, but not to the same extent as Roaring Moon, which I do think is a cool design card. Not a card I love too much outside of, I guess I played it in Terra, or not Terra box, in Lost Zone box
Okay.
back when that was in format. But yeah, I think Roaring Moon is a card that it is cool though. I just didn't play it that much.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. What do we need to hit next here? You want to talk about Bombardier or no?
Yeah, sure. I'll cover Bombardier EX. This isn't the card I played. I'd really be interested in people telling us in the comment section if they played Bombardier EX. But it was this card, turn 1 going first, or any turn, but it can be turn 1
Right.
going first. You can use this attack for 1 colorless, which is a Call for Family style attack here, searching for 3 basic Pokemon, put them onto your bench. Does a hit and run attack that sends it back to your hand as well, which is like okay, I guess. But yeah, I mean, having a Call for Family attack, you were saying earlier how you like these style of
Yep.
attacks, usually in a more like secondary role because they're like also a pre-evolution. But this is your turn going first. You're going to use this to fill up your bench pretty well, which is definitely pretty meaningful here. In some decks, it's seen play in ends. Some I haven't personally played it or really seen it that much, but it is a pretty cool card.
Yeah, and I don't think I played with it at all, so maybe I should give it a go because, yeah, being able to set up your bench, and then if you attack turn one, you can use the second attack because it's two prize Pokemon. That's a big problem with these bench, getting Pokemon in your bench. But it shuffles back into your deck for 3 energy, so you can crisp in your second turn and get it out of play. Although I don't know if that's enough payoff for having spent 2 turns, but yeah, worth a mention, Bombardier.
Yeah, I guess I'll mention Wigglytuff EX here. It's like a stage one, which for 3 energy does 180 if you have a supporter attached. Also, if it has a special energy, it gets 100 extra HP, which is kind of cool. It's bad with ignition because you attach to ignition, then you do you do big damage, and then you or like mediocre damage, and then you lose the energy, and then you lose the extra HP, which is
Yeah.
like bad. But it's because it's seen a little play and control. You want to mention Alex AMEX? I feel like you do.
I'll briefly because I we're getting long, but look, it's fun because it lets you attack from the bench, which is the first time and the only time I think that's been on a Pokemon. So you can have your Mimikyu or something the active and attack from the bench here. But it was underwhelming, is what I'll say. So I played it some, and it's going away, and it was fun. Maybe they'll bring this concept back in the future. I don't know, but it was underwhelming for sure. I think the card.
Yeah, I think there's another card you do really want to talk about here, right?
Oh, yeah, then Dodrio, I want to mention of this. I love single prize stage ones that attack for 1 energy. This checks those boxes. It lets you draw a card every turn. Super nice there. You put a damage counter on it, and then does 10 plus 30 for each damage counter on it. So ideally, you get a bunch on the bench, start getting up a threat, and yeah, it's been nice for single prize decks. It's been, yeah, an engine, not a huge, not it's not the greatest engine because it's drawing one, but it is an engine, and at times it's interesting with the games because there are these decks that are that are putting damage on you, right? From Dragapult to Monkey Dory. But if you get into battles with those type of decks and you're playing Dodrio, you just need to, it gets an interesting dynamic because you want to stay low enough damage that they can't knock you out, but they're also afraid to put damage counters on you because then if they don't knock you out, you're also doing big damage. So it gets in this funny little back and forth with managing damage counters at times, which I've liked.
Yeah, it's definitely a cool card. I like it as well. I don't like it as much as you, but it is a cool card. Then there is another card I think we need to mention here, which is Ditto. Ditto is pretty good, I guess. It's not a card I really play that
Yeah.
much or like that much, but I thought it was going to be very good, and it's been decent. On your first turn, if this is in the active, you can discard it, swap it out with a basic in your deck. It turns your Buddy by Poffin and or Fan Rotom searches into like nest balls, kind of. Not exactly. It needs to be in the active, but it's it's definitely a pretty nice ability here. I don't think you have anything else to say on that card, do you?
No, I never really I never gelled with it, I guess is what I'll say.
Yeah, then we got a couple more cards here. Cleffa, I'll mention. Draw till you have 7 in hand for free. It's not
Yep.
really played very much now, to be honest. I heard someone say this, and I think it's a really good analysis, and that's quite simply that the Cleffa slots and decks turn into Badoo slots and decks for the most part.
Yes.
Badoo, term going second, is going to be generally better than the Cleffa, but Cleffa's still like decent here. And then there is the last card I think I'll mention. There's a couple more here quickly. I'll just kind of speed through them if you're fine with that. We got losing
Sure.
Chip by Excalibur. It's all right. It was good. It's probably still okay-ish. That it's not that good. And then we're also losing Luxray. Luxray can play it if you're down on prizes, letting you swing for like a decent damage on a single prize there. Pretty good, to be honest. We are also losing, I think the last card to mention here is going to be, where is it? It's Klefki. Klefki is actually pretty meaningful here. If it's in the active ability locking basics, specifically with Psyduck in the metagame as well as Dusknoir, Psyduck countering Dusknoir, but being a basic there, you can use Klefki to counter the counter, be able to get your Dusknoir through, which can be really big, especially in the decks are really built around Dusknoir. It's really good. Klefki is like a good card. It kind of slows the game down as well as a defensive controller card kind of. But yeah, definitely I think a pretty meaningful loss there for rotation. As I said, with specifically Psyduck and in the Dusknoir interaction there, Psyduck's now more definitive. There's not too much you can do about it, which I don't mind. I don't really mind that too much. But yeah, definitely an interesting thing there.
All right, so quick three from me. One Scissor, which we're losing Goldango, so that's where Scissors played, so that's not a big deal. We are losing a card that was important, and that is Skwovet. You made mention of it, but just but here, it was a very good card. Hasn't been good in a bit, and then a card that seemed to have some promise, but never was good. And that's Koraidon EX. I'm just going to give him a shout out here. Accelerating two basic energies for your discard pile. You could use it turn one and you really get going, but just making it happen in the payoff just was
It
never.
ends your turn, by the way.
It does end your turn. So you wanted to use it your first turn going first. You needed the energies in the discard pile already. And it seemed to have this promise for fighting Pokemon that just never delivered.
Yeah. Overall, I think, there's some really big losses for rotation.
Yeah.
There's also some smaller ones. Obviously, there's a lot of Pokemon rotating. I am excited to see what the changes bring with this next year. Some really powerful decks rotating. We'll see how good Dragapult is, if that's just going to be super dominant, which I could see being the case. But I'm really interested in hearing your thoughts down below in the comment section. We both are. If you have a question for one of us, specifically leave it on our channels, 10 Types or in Common Fossil. Also, make sure you subscribe and like on our channels. That really helps support us here. And then also, you can listen to us on podcasting platforms like Spotify or other ones, if you want, if that's more convenient for you. Though don't leave comments there. I mean, you could, but we won't see them, unfortunately, because of some weird stuff. But we hope you enjoyed. And as always, we're excited to see you in the next episode.
Take care.